Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. I've got Sean with me again. You all right, Sean?
Good to be back. Thank you, Al. So what are we doing today? What's the plan?
Right. Well, we just thought we'd sort of show something that's in our draft kit. We'll give you a bit of a glimpse of it. But basically, it's what we like to call our ultimate strength of schedule.
Yeah, you did a really great job on this last year. Proved very, very highly accurate. So yeah, that's a very good shout to do one of these today.
So just let me explain what we're looking at. So we've done this one for every position. The rest are in our draft guide. This is quarterback. Basically, this is the O-line rankings as from Pro Football Focus. So obviously 1 being the best and 32 being the worst.
Yep.
And then there's the same with the strength of schedule for the year. And then there's a strength of schedule for your playoff weeks. Because in fantasy, obviously that's quite key. We've also got quarterback yards per game in 19. And then what I call our power rankings. So how good the team is. You know, potentially, maybe it's betting wise how good the offense is, basically. Obviously, the lowest score, the better. So, as you can see, I drafted him on Saturday, actually, as my second QB, basically based off this, because he's got a great playoff schedule. He's got a great strength of schedule for the whole year. And that's Jimmy G from the 49ers. He's got a pretty good O-line as well, because and the other guy I drafted was number 2, and that was Dak Prescott. So I just think I do think it's actually more important than people think. And yes, sometimes things don't work out this way in fantasy, do they? But it gives you an inkling. It gives you an idea if you're close on players or players you want to target, who you might go for.
So I think where this really shines through in the draft guide, to be honest with you, I'm really pleased that you've decided to pick quarterbacks because, as Al says, the rest of it will be in the draft guide only for people to see. But this is a great one to focus on. You can clearly see a lot of the teams that are going to struggle for this year is very accurate. I mean, look at Washington down there. That's really brutal.
You got a rookie quarterback with the hardest.
You know, Cincinnati, brutal for the new quarterback coming in. So we're going to glimpse him. A lot of people very high on Josh Allen this year. I love Josh Allen, but I'm less enamored with the schedule having seen this.
And Josh Allen's going high, so for me,
absolutely.
Although he could improve, it's a tough schedule, and that puts me off a little. I don't like to see. That's not what it really does put me off getting Josh Allen that high. The thing with this is mainly throwing. So Josh Allen does have the double threat of rushing yards as well. So you could say that could put him a bit higher, but still it puts me off, and maybe puts me off. Well,
you're raising great points.
Josh Allen's going in the top 10 QBs, and that really
easily.
does.
Yeah, easily. So again, although we're very, on this podcast, we've not only been big fans of his before he came into the league, but we did tell you how good he could be, and he's showing glimpses of that. This may not be the year though for him. I think he'll have to do a lot of his fantasy damage on the ground, which he's more than capable of. But
yes, he is.
With a schedule like this, it does worry you about some of the players he's got to throw the ball to as well. So it would concern me. The other one that really stands out when you look at that bottom list tier, Chicago Bears, Trubisky. I mean, his job is already under threat.
Whichever one it is, yeah.
Yeah, his job is already under threat, and I much prefer the backup here in Foles, who I think will win out the job in the end, in my view. Then you look at the top of the tree, like you say, you've already highlighted Jimmy G. I mean, lovely schedule for Dallas. That's a good sign. Baltimore, great schedule. It's not. It's
Tom
not
Brady
fair,
has a great schedule as well at 4.
Kansas City, great schedule. Drew Brees, great schedule. I mean, it's just not fair, is it?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, great schedule.
It's just not fair. But there you go. That's why they're great. And Seattle as well at 10. Good old Russell Wilson, Mr. Steady there. Another good schedule. So it's all going to bode very well for the guys at the very top of the tree again.
I just think it is a decent guide. I mean, I'm not going to be touching Haskins in any league, but I know he's going to be cheap anyway. But it's just going to be a tough year for whoever gets that job, really. If it is Haskins, it's tough, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and it shows you as well, looking at the middle section, because I think that's the one where you've really got to decide whether that team is rightly in the middle, or are they going to go up a bit in your estimates, or are they going to go down? There's some really interesting ones there. I mean, look at that with Arizona. That's an interesting one to judge whether they're going to be higher than that or lower than that, or is that exactly right for the draft grade? I mean, that looks really tough going. And
Again,
then you've also
but that's
got
all right. That's middle of the pack, and Murray will do a lot with his feet as well, won't he? So
he will, but it's interesting. And Cleveland, maybe Baker Mayfield can take a step further up the quarterback list this year based off this, even though he's in the middle tier pack. Maybe it's better for him.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about the teams at the bottom, really. It's going to be tough for Minshew as well with the Jags, but again, he's a dual threat, a sneaky dual threat people don't know about, really.
He is.
He did pretty well in these games. Big Ben's got a top 8 schedule. That's pretty good. And they're probably marked down because their quarterback play for that team last year didn't have a quarterback, so they were 31st. So, you could even put them higher. If Ben was there, they'd have been far higher in that category. So, you could even put them even further at the board. Aaron Rodgers has the second best playoff schedule. He's got a chip on his shoulder, point to prove. He's going about QB 13 now. I think that could well be value as well. So
it looks great. Do you feel, based on that strength of schedule, do you think Cam Newton could do quite well then for this year if you were looking at that as a sneaky pick? Because he's, out of all the quarterbacks that we've mentioned, he's got to be one of the latest off the board.
What I will say with Cam Newton, he will do well if he stays healthy. He always has. If his shoulder's healthy and he can throw, that's what's held him back the last 2 or 3 years.
Definitely,
he's great. He loves running in touchdowns. Anyone who's ever in a running back on his team knows how many times Cam likes to get in there and do that. Whether Bill Belichick will let him do that is another thing. But Cam does Cam things. I
think what we've seen with Bill Belichick, he was never frightened to roll the dice on 4th and 1 if they felt Brady could just put the sneak. How accurate were they?
Cam Newton going to be doing better. Well, Brady did it pretty well as well, to be fair.
He did very well with it. But, if Brady can hit 13 or 14 of those, I think it was, in one season, on 4th and 1s, then Cam Newton's more than capable. So as long as he's healthy.
So just an idea, really. Like I say, if you want to see the rest of it and you want to support the channel, then it's in our draft guide.
It can't be underestimated how powerful this was last year, and it will be the only sneak peek we're going to give you of these strength of schedule stuff. And Al was spookily accurate last year.
Well, I had the Ravens as number 1, and I think they broke the record for rushing yards in a season with Lamar and Ingram and the other guys, Gus Edwards.
They did, and not only that, but to also toot your trumpet here, you had the defense down that you felt on your strength of schedule was going to do well last year, and that was New England at number 1. So
New England were number 1 on the defensive one, how good were they?
So if you want to see the rest of his strength of schedules, honestly, I cannot tell you how powerful it is, and I've certainly made note of it this year and drafted according to these. So it's really helped me, I think.
Okay, and that's it, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Subscribe for more, and if you want to support the channel and get the draft guide, the link will be below. And thanks very much for watching.